Let's talk about some Dragon Ball Daima. Like, that is the talk of the town. That is the thing that is going around. Everyone is excited for. And I will tell you, I've been a proponent, an advocate, if you will, okay? Somebody that has really been sticking up for this show, and that love has grown since the start, okay? And even before then, because before then, I wasn't all that excited until the first trailer dropped. Now we're at a point where there's, you know, at the time this releases, there's 6 episodes that are out. The pacing is seemingly, I will say, very good for what it is. But, of course, that's what we're going to get it into. So I might as well just do it right and hit you guys with your question of the day. Your question.
You're gonna shoot us with the question of the day. Whether you like it or not.
Your question of the day. You know, sometimes I got to turn the page over on this thing because I got access to more buttons, and you know, I'm not trying to shoot you guys. I'm sorry about that. I'm keeping all that in there. I'm not editing this out.
That's
but
hilarious.
yeah, that is. Yeah, right. To keep you guys fucking active. All right. So I asked, do you think the pacing of Dragon Ball Daima is good or bad? Now, I know we started talking about it. If you want to give your short answer, because, you know, I know you have a few qualms for JD and Joey to hear, so go ahead. Let us know. Do you think it's good or bad?
The show?
The pacing.
The pacing. Pacing is all right for what it is, but, you know, like, what should I say? Like, it's like, for a short answer, I don't know, because we talked about it.
Yeah, no, just because I set you up for this thinking that you were going to shit on and be like, oh, no, this pacing sucks. That's what I thought you were about to say.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
It is what it is.
That's a better answer than I was expecting, to be honest.
I mean, for what the show is, and like, because honestly, I don't even know where to like be within the show in, 5 episodes, because that's what we've watched so far.
Right.
By the time this comes out, it'll be 6.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would like for there to be it a little faster, you know what I mean?
Fair.
But, I mean, I don't know. It's not my show. it's not my fucking show, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I said on the last episode that I believe we'll probably see like Vegeta. I'm not even gonna be expecting them to come through probably for like another like 2-3 episodes.
Fair.
So like episode like
you said
like I said like 8.
You said 10.
I said 8 to 10.
Yeah, 10. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, with how the pacing is like right now. I mean, could be wrong. Maybe we'll get it an episode earlier, episode 7 or some shit. Just depends on, you know, where they are.
Yeah.
At that point, like depending on how episode 6 goes and where they are, we'll maybe like determine if we see them sooner than later.
Okay.
And who they're fighting and shit like that.
So we do have some responses of, obviously, I asked this all around the socials, so this is your opportunity, guys, as another reminder that you guys have priority. You, the patrons, the thriving Ozarus, the real of the real ones, okay? You guys get your answers read first, like our boy, Worse Than a Demon. Clap it up for our man, Worse Than a Demon. He says, I like the pacing in this show. It just feels like it should have a slow start for us to get used of all the new things we are seeing.
What slow start? Is he done?
No, he's out. What?
What are you talking about? Slow start? He's
done.
He's got more to say here.
Holy shit.
So listen, so then he goes on to say, the new demon world that's still full of mysteries, characters, and the fact that everyone is small.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about by slower pace. Why would he want it to be slower?
So, okay, I think what they're trying to say is maybe they want it to be a little bit more slower paced so that way we can absorb more of what's happening. But
listen, if this shit was 12 episodes, I would be happy.
Yeah, but then at that point, like what they want, they wouldn't even get. It would be like literally within the first episode, what would happen is that recap would happen in like a minute,
Right.
right? Then like they would go to the picnic, the birthday for Trunks.
Yeah.
Then from there, they would already get like the wish would happen. They would already, like they wouldn't even show them showing
It
up.
would be a speed run.
It would be
to
a
the demon room.
speed run, you know, and by the time the episode ends, all of them would have at least they would probably be where they're at right now in episode 1, by like with meeting with Glorio and going with Shin and meeting Pansy, like all that would happen on episode 1, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
If that's how the pacing was, but okay. So now that so do you guys have anything to add to Worse Than a Demon's comment at all?
Like I get what he means in terms of like wanting to have time to like absorb things. I don't necessarily agree that it should be slower.
Facts.
But I can agree that like of somebody who appreciates a slower pace, and we'll get to all that.
Yeah. All right, Joy. What about you?
Yeah, I'm about learning more about the demon realm. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see more of that. Definitely don't want it to be slower. I'll say that. Definitely do not. Yeah, I got words, but that's okay.
Yeah. No. That's,
Great
fair.
response though. Thank you.
Yeah. Of course. As always, guys. Thank you guys for responding. You know, again, listen. You want yours read first, prioritized. Patreon. Okay. So now we're gonna turn over to the YouTube. Okay. So of course I asked this, like I said, on all the socials. So this next person says, I've watched Hunter x Hunter. This pacing is fine. Episodes. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, I've always had a problem with people who felt like Hunter x Hunter started too slow, because like
I agree.
I don't know, like maybe it's because like there's a difference when you're watching an adventure show versus
Wait, Hunter x Hunter's the
traditional
little nigga with
shonen.
the fucking fish.
Yes.
Yeah,
Fish.
and
Yes.
and I think that like for me, when you start Hunter x Hunter, you get that sense of adventure, and Dragon Ball Daima is kind of a return to that adventure formula that Dragon Ball has. But we'll get back into that. But anyway, continue. It's just because I have this argument with my friends all the time about Hunter x Hunter, and you know I'm just like, what?
Nah,
But
that's actually that's very fair to bring up, because like adventure series need time. Okay, like I understand, and as someone that's literally only watched probably those amount of episodes, like I'm literally not far in Hunter x Hunter at all. I'm up to like episode 6 or 7, maybe 8 if I'm lucky, and I will say that I can see where people are coming from if they are in the camp of saying like, oh man, it takes so long to get anywhere good. But see, Hunter x Hunter also comes from an era when we weren't worried about, oh, this shit needs to happen quicker or something like that. Like back in the day, we were given anime and that's it. Okay? Like we had no time or room to really complain about, oh, I wish this or I wish that. Like, no. In our era, we were literally laying the foundation for all the shit that's happening right now. You understand? So back then, things could play out and take however as much time as it needed to. And Hunter x Hunter is one of those shows that existed back in the day. So that's why, if people that are getting into it now that may not come from our era, or maybe they're not necessarily a 90s kid, I'll just put it that way. They might not be so, I guess, willing or accepting of the pacing of shows that have longevity to it.
But yeah, so with the longevity, you have to understand if there are fillers involved. I don't know how much filler Hunter x Hunter has, if any at all. I imagine they do. But
In the newest
it's
adaptation, there's
pretty.
none.
Yeah. There's no filler, but it's
that shit
it's just
felt
like the
filler in
first
season.
arc. The first arc is technically slower.
Yeah.
It's like
but yeah.
they're getting into it. Like it's like the exam and all that shit.
Yeah.
The Hunter's exam. That's what it's called.
Mhm.
I didn't even get to the Hunter's exam.
You didn't even get to episode 1.
No, I watched a few episodes, but it was pretty slow.
I didn't even get off the boat at that point.
Listen, yo, that's facts right there. What Joey said.
Probably.
What I will say
forget.
is that
It was a while ago.
in what I've seen, so when my first go around for Hunter x Hunter, I fell asleep during the first
Damn.
episode. Okay, I will
Damn,
admit that.
man.
This was years ago. Years ago. You remember my boy Bobby? You obviously know
Yeah, Bob.
Mr. Tempest, right?
Yeah.
So he came over after a tournament that I was running, and he was of course helping me out. And so he wanted to put me onto Hunter x Hunter. So we were literally right over here. Right?
Maybe at like fucking 4 a.m.
Oh,
trying to
it was
watch
definitely
first-
3. It was 3 in the morning.
That's not gonna happen.
It was 3 in the morning after a long
First
day.
mistake.
Listen, I was running. We all know. We all have
I
some
would've
sort of
fallen
involvement in FGC. You know what I say? Like, after running a tournament all day long, had that late night Perkins, and now we come home, and he's like, "All right, we'll put some anime on." I was like, "Psh." I was like, "All right."
Yeah.
Literally,
Uh-huh.
I fell asleep, and then I woke up for the ending, and I'm like, "Oh, I know this song." The fuck? How? Why is Let Me Hear an ending theme? Like that shit should be an opening, but that's beside the point. So then years after the fact, that's when nowadays I'm like, okay, let me try this again. And so I like it, but I'm
I
still
think
waiting.
it's one of those shows that it definitely pays off. Just like most adventure shows, like people say the same thing about One Piece. It's like it's one of those shows like once you put in the time and investment and just like soak it all in, and then you're gonna hit a point where you're like, yo, this is OD.
Right.
But
Yeah.
again, like I get how like sometimes you need to be in the mood for it also.
True.
And I could see that happening with this show too, especially just because it is a slower paced show. But
Yeah. All right, and so then the rest of this comment, they did say episode 6 is also supposedly supposed to be a big one, and that's for Daima. So again, reminder: this episode was recorded prior to Friday, which, in case you might have missed the Friday episode on here on YouTube or whatever on YouTube, then check that out. But yeah, so obviously this comment was written prior to that, so hopefully it was a big one, right? So this next person says, as a One Piece fanatic, the pacing is phenomenal. I'm so glad it doesn't have so many recaps and fillers and flashbacks like One Piece. And you know what? That is very fair.
That's a good point, though.
And that's a fantastic point, because when you think about it, look at the layout of how Dragon Ball as a whole has always been. So I'm talking Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super. The thing that they all have in common is that they will have a narrator that will recap what happened in the last episode. And then the preview will be longer and the titles will be longer. So all of that fat, all of that fluff for Daima has all literally been deleted. So how is anybody gonna complain about the pacing? Because right now, when you think about that, you take that into consideration, the pacing for Daima is immaculate. Because we're moving. The story's being told. And we officially still, at this point, still don't know how many episodes we are going to get. I'm still in the camp of at least around 20, maybe 24, something like that, right? But again, we don't know. So with that assumption in mind that it's going to be in the ballpark of 20-something, we're 6 episodes in, and it's moving. So who knows? And also keep in mind, I think it was Akiwa Yoku in an interview that said that anything that you want to or could imagine that you would want to see happen in Daima will happen. You understand what that? Do you understand what that means? Do you understand that, like, everything that we have collectively talked about, anything that you might have seen, pass by on a social app, bro, we're gonna get Super Saiyan 4. Hello? We're gonna fucking get
at
that.
least something crazy.
And we're gonna get a fusion. Like, even
Oh,
if
we're
it's
definitely
not
getting a fusion,
Vegito.
1000%.
Fusion's guaranteed at this point.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
fusion's
With all that being said, guys, get out your whiteboards. Get out your markers. Get out whatever writing utensil, but most importantly, get out your knowledge, because you're gonna need it for classroom session number 8. This is Chi-Chi's A Scholarship.
Oh, That's that good.